Yo. Time to finish up the rest of the UVs. I just gotta chop up each of the strands of his hair. All right. These honestly aren't too bad. Just this one. Yeah, that one's not too bad either. If anything, I could do like this. I'm just trying to make the seams all hidden where they can be. So I would want the seam to be here, but that's like way too exposed, so I'll try and do it like like here. Yeah, it's not too bad. Let's see. Yeah, it's a good spot. Might have to go through a few iterations of the UVs, but we'll see what we can do. Barball, what's good? Finishing off all the UVs. I just gotta chop up all the strands a little bit, so that way there's more space for textures. And then after that, I need to adjust the skeleton a little bit, so that way I could make the mouthpieces grow larger in size with animation if I wanted to. Because I think I'm going to have him like bite over the head of the character to let him breathe air underwater during some of the water parts. So I have to make that possible. But yeah, just all these pieces with like super dense geometry I have to chop up a little bit. Doing some homework before you stream, nice. Yeah, get that shit done, you know? Better off, I feel that. Not too bad, not too bad. Let's see. Okay, this is the other side. Don't remember if you asked before, but how long have you been 3D modeling? You have a decent grasp of the whole workflow. I think I first opened up Maya in 2015, and I learned how to actually do modeling stuff around 2016-ish. So that's like when I really started. But I've been doing it pretty consistently since then. So I learned a lot of shit since that point. And I moved to Blender around 2018, 2019-ish. And Unreal I've been using since about 2016 as well. Unreal 4. And then when Unreal 5 came out, I moved right over because they pretty much have the same UI, minus just some like style changes and stuff. Everything's kind of in the same spot, so. Yeah, I've been doing this for quite a long time now. It's at the point where I definitely like I can model shit faster than I can draw shit pretty consistently. When I draw stuff, it takes me forever. Kind of wish you started 3D back then, but you were more abrasive towards 3D. That and your computer probably wouldn't have handled it well. Yeah, that was a huge thing back then. Like because the thing is 3D was widely used in a lot of media back then, but all the good 3D you wouldn't have even noticed because it was so good that it was just like it blended in with everything else. But the thing is, what people noticed was when 3D was used poorly, which was in a lot of like anime and stuff at the time. So the general consensus was that 3D was like bad. Like if you did 3D, it was like lower quality, which isn't really the case. It's just like what was noticeable about the work at the time. All the good 3D you wouldn't have even known was 3D at that point. Like I was watching one of the openings from the original Naruto anime, and one of the openings was definitely a 3D like background. It was like a rock or something, but the stylization over it was so good that it was like you don't even notice it. It just looked like it was a perspective drawing. But yeah, no, a few of my friends were had that thing as well, where they were like against 3D at first, and then they started doing it, and they're like, oh, okay, I kind of understand what's going on here now. Yeah, I mean, I tried Blender back in like 2011, 2013-ish, around that time period, and I did not know what I was doing at all. I tried to model like a P90, and I like fucked it up in one way or another, and I just like gave up at that point. But then learning Maya was a struggle, but it was definitely worth it because that was like the industry standard shit, still is. But Blender's nice because it's open source and all that. You thought you'd be better off sticking to 2D, and then you saw Xrd? Yeah, absolutely. Completely makes sense. Hey, I mean, my friend Markel, he was in the same classes that I was in, and going through all the 3D classes and stuff that I was in, he was doing that shit with me. He ended up going into just strictly 2D instead, and it's working out for him. So honestly, it's just like, you know, everyone's preferences are different for that kind of stuff. Now Markel, he just did something for Arc System Works for, it was like a huge like BlazBlue illustration, and he was posting shit about that recently on his Instagram. It was pretty crazy. It was for like the 25th anniversary or something like that. So really, I mean, it's all valid. Oh, that's your brother's name too? That's pretty cool. That's funny. Yeah, I'm gonna send you on Insta something. It's the thing that Markel did for Arc System. Hold on. Oh wait, do I even have you on Insta? I don't even know if you have it. I'll send you a link on Discord. Markel's the only one who can argue with Torval and not feel compelled to scream. The magic must be in the name. Now we done had a screaming argument before. That's funny. Nah, you ain't talking too much. I don't care. You ain't slowing me down at all. How you doing up, Usley? Oh yeah, we're UV pilled again. Once again, we are UV pilled, but this time hopefully it'll be a little bit uh like we'll get through it faster because all I'm doing is chopping all these hair pieces in areas where it's not noticeable, so that way the textures turn out higher quality. Because you see like how I'm zoomed out like this, and some of these are just completely black. That just means that it's like the densest vertices ever. Like there's just a million vertices, and they're all in one spot. So I need to chop it up so that way they're less conglomerated and there's more pixels to be spread around. This one looks so much cleaner. Yeah, this one kind of UV'd itself a little bit more. It's just a matter of cutting everything in one direction, so that way they line up and are more expanded. Yeah, you saw Arc System Works post that shit. I was so surprised. I was like, damn, he's doing exactly what he wanted to do. I'm like, good for him, man. What are you planning on doing for the texture? I want to do some Vine shit. So he's gonna be okay. So they're gonna be in a few different colors. I'm thinking there's gonna be green ones. I'm thinking there's gonna be some with like a desaturated like bluish color, some with like a maroon color, and then maybe like an evil one or something, or I don't know. And then he'll be like a separate color of some kind. I don't know. Maybe he'll be like because they absorb smog and stuff. Maybe one gets like taken over by the smog, and he like turns like dark or something like that. But oh yeah, and then for the rest of it, the hands are gonna kind of be like eggplants. So the hands on all of them are probably gonna be like purple. And then for these flower things, I might make some like variations depending on what color the vines are. I'm thinking like a white gradient into like a pinkish reddish color, maybe. But we'll see what happens as I go, honestly. These guys are hella interesting. Thank you. Yeah, I'm kind of happy with how these guys are coming out. I was trying not to go full Pianta like in Super Mario Sunshine, but that is kind of like an influence for how I made these guys. You know the Piantas, they're like the fat dudes with the palm trees on their head. These guys. I think that their design is nice and simple and chill, but they're kind of like the fruit attached to the like the stem of whatever plant. But I know it's just like a palm tree on top of their head, pretty much. So I kind of liked that idea, so I copied that a little bit for the palm trees on like this dude's head and this dude's head. But other than that, I figured like a vine creature would be kind of cool. So Whoops. And then I also got to texture this stuff. I may have all the fruits on a separate UV shell as well. I was thinking of grouping these fruits in with the textures of the hair, but I think there's just so much stuff that needs texel density that I might just make it separate. I don't really want to make cuts on this one. Everywhere I could make a cut would be so visible. So I might just leave that for now. That's a pretty good spot, actually. So I'm basically just trying to like make cuts in the least visible spots possible. So like something like that. Like that's kind of a weird angle to be looking at. It's getting blocked by like the front blocks over here. Might even do this one. Yeah, it's completely blocked off from pretty much every direction. Because if I look at it from this way, it might be this. Okay, yeah, that's perfect. Yeah, this is an angle you probably wouldn't be looking at these guys at, so. Yeah, see, now we're getting a lot of segments that are less dense up here. Yeah, so all it really is, I'm just selecting edges, right-click, mark seam, and it just like lets the program know like if I was to unwrap the UVs, to unwrap it with like a cut along those edges, so it'd separate them along that line in particular. And these are the ones that I can't really cut too much, I think. Oh no, actually this one. I could find a spot for this one. Whoops. Yeah. Really good one. Oh, whoops. There we go. I'm gonna have to adjust the size of a lot of these because I think for some reason the palm tree one is taking up a lot of the space on here, and it doesn't really have to. And also a lot of these palm leaves can be stacked on top of each other too. The MK community is currently in shambles. What's going on? I know that the new MK game wasn't that great. It's because you haven't been a part of it. Yeah, also, a big thing with Mortal Kombat is a lot of advertisers don't want to be a part of it because of how graphic it is, which is kind of cringe. Like, who cares if something's graphic? Like, get that bag off of advertising regardless. Like that, people like that shit, you know. And then you have the people who are like, oh, you just need like the default of MK at like tournaments and stuff to have all the graphic stuff turned off. And I'm like, what the hell? It's like ordering a pizza without cheese on it. Like, what the fuck? You can't just like do that. The game has some issues on the comp side of things, and a lot of people ain't fucking with it. That's rough. I was into Street Fighter 6 for a while. Thought that was really fun. But I just really like how Guilty Gear plays now. Strive ends playing a little bit of XX. I never really got into XX before now. You think they lost the plot with Agora and the new MKs? What do you mean by that? It's crazy too because MK is technically the best-selling traditional fighting game, yet the comp community isn't as together anymore. Even Sonic Fox is threatening to drop it. That's crazy. Like, they think making the gore more realistic is serving the MK image. But MK gore is different. I see. Yeah, I will say Mortal Kombat graphically is probably one of the best fighting games there is. Like, it's the highest fidelity, like if you're going from like a realistic perspective, you know? I think that's cool. And I think that's why a lot of people play it. So that's why I'm not saying they should go without it. But I think definitely as like a spectator fighting game, it's probably hurting them. But then again, I just think advertisers are kind of cucked. So you can rip out 40 rib cages. Quad have a fatality where you elongated your neck. Turn you into a giraffe and then watch you trip and fall on your face. What the fuck? Yeah, I don't know. I think my favorite Mortal Kombat out of the recent ones, I liked Mortal Kombat 10. That one was nice. I think 9 was pretty decent too. I don't really remember it too well though. I'm honestly just really bad at Mortal Kombat games because like my brain just doesn't work when there's a dedicated block button. Like I know people get used to it, but I play so many games where it's just like hold back to block that I just my brain crossfires. The only game I can like use a block button like that in is like Smash Melee. There's a difference between edgy and sucking up your opponent like a noodle and spitting out a bunch of bones. That shit's pretty funny. The gore was goofy, yeah. That's pretty funny. It's so weird. It's like gore tolerance has changed, but those people still exist who can't handle anything and try to get shit to not exist. I personally think anything's fair game. I think people should learn to be okay with not playing or watching something that they're not into. X made things grittier and darker, and they're keeping with that. Yeah, that's kind of how I felt too. Like with Mortal Kombat 10, it was just how detailed could we make all of the gory moves, and that seemed to be their shift in focus. Like that was when I actually played a little bit, and I remember like that's like with all the X-ray shit. It's like you get a giant icicle shoved through your eye. It's just like, oh, okay. Definitely a tone shift for sure. I think if they weren't going for such a high fidelity like graphical look, then that would have changed as well. But they're going for like they're trying to make the characters look like they're real, you know? Kind of want to see an MK game with a more animated style, kind of like their current films. That'd be cool. I think I might take the palm tree out of this UV. Put it in the UV with the root instead. Because it's wasting a lot of space. That looks a lot cleaner. Something that wasn't animated so flimsily with the overuse of mocap. I feel like that'd bring a new type of hype, and the over-the-top gore wouldn't be so overbearing. Yeah, I'm not exactly against the use of mocap, but the way that they use it is kind of, it's like obvious, you know. Like I've probably mentioned this before, but the way you're supposed to use mocap is like you do the motions. You can bring it into a program to clean up any inaccuracies with like the mocap system, so that way it's like on a skeleton like clean, and then you adjust the animation with like the principles of animation that like people are taught, with like exaggeration and impact frames, squash and stretch, all that shit. And sometimes they skip that step and it makes shit look like it's obviously like a person making those movements, which in some games makes sense, but in others it just makes it, you know, lack impact in one way or another. They don't make it more detailed and exaggerated like Street Fighter or Tekken. Yeah, exactly. We're getting there. There are less dense areas of vertices now. There's some that I just can't help, though. Whoops. Yeah, like all the strands on this guy, there's kind of like no spot where there's a seam that isn't visible. I mean, I guess I could kind of do behind his head, like over here. Try that. I could just fix it up in the texture. Where the fuck is Kotagi? I have no idea. Oh boy. This one is severely fucked. Alright, we're getting there. This is the longest strand. I'm pretty sure this hairpiece is all one mesh. And I didn't do any cuts along it yet. So it's just extremely dense vertices all the way down. Hmm. Torbert, though. It actually won't even let me zoom in further than this. That's how dense this shit is. Whoa. What the fuck? Object has negative scale. Huh? I think my normals might be flipped on one of them. Okay. You don't think you'll ever look forward to learning Wonder? You'll get Kotagi to make your shit for you. I don't think he looks forward to learning Wonder either, honestly. At least parts like this. Everything else is chill. It's literally just the UVing and the weight painting parts of modeling that are horrible to experience. But again, it's also only certain models and stuff like that. Like, there's some models that I can UV in a minute or two. But because I decided to make these so dense with geometry and stuff, it's taking a lot longer. And a lot of people just say fuck it and then just leave it, but then their textures come out worse. So I'm just trying to avoid that as much as I can, because I would like this game to come out like pretty polished. I hate the trend of games coming out and they're like clearly not done, or have poor art assets, or have stolen or bought art assets instead, you know? I'll take the bullet for that. To make sure my shit is unique and good at the same time. If you ever want to learn it though, I'll teach you. Alright, almost halfway through the strand. And then we have all these to get through. This one is another one that's gonna have to be severely adjusted. That's probably good. Let's see. Boom. It's looking a lot better. So this is still like super dense. I think no matter what I do, it's still gonna probably be dense. So there's two things I can do to fix this issue. It's either I split the all the hair pieces into two sets. So like I put 3 of the hair pieces in one shell and 3 in another. And then I use a texture for each of them. Or I can just use this one set and make the texture larger, which is probably the easier way to go about it. I'll probably just do that and just do what I can to make it as expanded as possible. There was one piece which was really thin, though, that I wanted to work on. I can't find it because it was very thin. There it is. What piece is this? Okay. I can fuck with this. Hmm. Would y'all ever make sex games? Trade a respectable audience for exponentially more money. Um, I would just do the thing where you do it under a different name, if anything. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Apparently, they pay a lot of money. I didn't know that. I figured it was especially for like 3D games, because I mean they pump them out on Steam all the time, and they seem like really low quality. So I figured because they were so low quality, they wouldn't get paid a lot. But apparently, they actually do get paid, which is surprising. So that's kind of insane. I would do that shit under a different studio name for sure. It seems like easy money, honestly. My parents say that shit all the time. They don't give a fuck. They're like, get that bag. I'm like, all right. The demand is boosted by the lonely man's desire. Facts. Yeah, I had no clue. Cause that shit's not like uh some of my friends have played them and like streamed them to me, and I'm like, this probably would be mad easy to make, honestly. You just have to make like decent models. I don't know if I have it. Well, you don't have to surround yourself by those types of people exactly. Streamed them to me. It's great. Yeah, one of my friends, he does the thing where he'll buy a bunch of games that are like fucked, and then he'll idle them for as long as possible. So his most played games on Steam are like porn games and like the Bible. It's actually pretty funny, but yeah, honestly, they seem mad easy to make. The thing is, I'm focusing all my energy on shit that I actually think would be like good. But honestly, I could spend like a few days and just make something like that, call it a day. They ain't there for the gameplay. That's what I'm saying though. But I am here for the gameplay. I'm here to make good shit, not shit that's. I mean, ideally this shit would make money too. That's my plan. But you know, like I'm making shit that I actually want to make is the thing. There's a guy on Patreon who's raking in like 80K a month for a game he hasn't updated in years. That's crazy. 80K a month. Huh? What the fuck? I mean, honestly, I may try it. Fuck it, right? Like, if I ever need a break from this, you know where I'll be at. Only thing is I can't stream that shit unless I go on my kick. Yeah, I mean, like, if... Oh, he's... Well, it's Patreon, right? So they can't lawsuit him. They're choosing to pay him for shit. And if he doesn't have any specific deliverables or something expected... I mean, even if he did have deliverables expected, if he doesn't deliver them, then the people just unsubscribe, you know? These people are choosing. You got to make a whole new VTuber model for that side. Yo, facts, though. See, now you're thinking, dude. So, and what are the ones that make money? Like, is it the 3D ones? Those are making bank? All types. Even the VNs get bank. Damn. And they're on like Steam and itch.io, yeah? I don't know what Rempe is. It's a VN maker. Damn. Well, I mean, I don't know. I feel like my 2D skills have been leveling up, so... is an option. Very interesting. So is it just 2D ones or 3D as well? Because I honestly feel like 3D might be easier. Because I'm just like faster. There's a lot of both. Steam got a lot of the 3D ones. I see. Not totally familiar with it. Fair, fair. Interesting. It's VNs, but with 3D renders if 3D is used. No, yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah. Not like you're running around in third person. Like it's just like 3D renders with like a VN format, I guess. Hmm. You want to get the high payroll, you're gonna have to hit up the furry art though. I always hear that. My issue with that is I don't want to make furry art in the first place to get the furries to know who makes the high quality shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't gonna do that just to hope that some furries are gonna see my shit. You know what I'm saying? I want the money instantly if I'm doing that. Bro posted cheeked up sea serpent with a Fu Manchu. Thank you to all my loyal fans. Y'all got me considering this. Not the furry shit, but like to make a game in general. Because low key, that shit would be mad easy if I was to do it in 3D. Because I've seen the quality of the models they use, and it's not good. Let's just put it that way. I just didn't know that shit actually made money. I thought it was just like fodder, you know. If you got the skill and fortitude to go through with it, why not? That's what I'm saying. The only thing I'd be worried about is how awkward things would be in your studio's infancy. Well, I ain't gonna use the Joey Chimney name or anything like that. You get that small, intimate community of fans at first that you know are nutting to your drawings. That is true. But I mean, like whatever, right? Like, what do I care? Realistically, Rule 34 exists for a reason, right? Where it's like, if it exists, porn of it already exists. So it doesn't matter if I make a regular game or a porn game. People are going to be nutting to that shit regardless, right? That's what I'm saying. Like, it doesn't make me feel any different about it because it's probably already going to happen. Interesting, interesting. Yo, y'all ever see that screenshot? Wait, y'all seen Chun-Li was the most looked up character on the hub? It doesn't matter where it's gonna come from. MFers go nuts. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, dude. Y'all ever see that screenshot? It was like this guy. He made a super inflammatory tweet to some furry dude. He's like, "Oh, you're fucking scum of the earth, trash, degenerate. Fuck you. You probably have no life." And then the furry dude just replied with a screenshot of his PayPal account with like $67,000 in the past month on it, and I was just like, like, get blown the fuck out. Like, you didn't even have to say any response at all. Not even a penny. Damn. What the fuck is that emoji? That's a crazy emoji. How degenerate can your audience get before it starts costing your mental health, though? Like that depends on how you think of other people in general. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, if I'm selling stuff to people, you got to go full corpo mind and just be like, these aren't people. These aren't people that you're selling shit to. These are just customers, you know? Because being too good of a person, you know, that doesn't make billionaires billionaires. You know what I'm saying? Not that you should do stuff to intentionally harm others or anything, but separate yourself from the people who indulge in your shit, you know? You could also just subscribe to the dead internet theory where everyone is a robot in the first place anyway. So it doesn't even matter. That's what I think of, like, Redditors. Redditors are either children or robots to me. So it's like, you should not take anything that they say seriously, ever. Okay. That long-ass hairpiece has been chopped up. What else can I do? think we're getting close to the maximum of what we can do about this. I'm gonna have to screenshot this and send this to my friend Gianmarco, who's like, he's like the UV guy, and see what he thinks about this. I'll chop it up a little bit more though. You're off for the next 2 days, so you're starting stream with this Slime 64 demo that you found out about. Interesting. Slime 64. What type of game is it? Like a platformer type thing? 3D platformer, old N64 style. So a devlog and it looks interesting. That's cool. There was another platformer I've yet to play, but it seemed interesting. It's in a similar vein. Nintendo 64 styled platformer. It's called Kiwi 64, I think. Or Super Kiwi 64. And it's just a platformer and you're like a bird thing. It might be biased because I like birds, but it looks pretty cool, I guess. Y'all ever just download like GameCube games that you haven't played before, and then just like play them on Dolphin, just to see? I found some like absolute banger games that way. Shit that looks cool, but you would like never actually buy in real life. Did on 5K to bit, not GameCube, but just random titles. Yeah. Like I don't know. There's this opinion that like I see circulate a lot online. A lot of the games there are bad. Well, yeah, that's fair. But there's this opinion I see circulate a lot online that people who prefer older games, they prefer them purely out of nostalgia, and it's not because the games are actually good. But I'm an active denier of that because I feel like I go back and I play old games that I've never touched before in my life. And a lot of them are like unique and like actually solid for games that were made that long ago. And then I play like indie games on Steam and I'm like, this is the same as 900 other indie games that were released in the past 6 months on Steam. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you hard to not. You think that's stupid? Exactly. Like people say that shit all the time, and I'm like, you're fucking insane. Like it makes zero sense. Step 1, gaslight. Yep, that's the last step too. It's crazy to see how developed games actually were back then, in a time I wasn't even born. Absolutely. Definitely has to do with what you said about variants, though. Bad games back then were at least memorable because they were different. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And you know what it is? Another thing that has to do with it, it's like the barrier to entry to actually creating a game was much higher back then because like you couldn't just download Unreal on your computer and like make some shit and release it. Like you had to get hired by a company, know what you're doing, and shit was a lot more like restrained back then because you had to go based off of hardware. You had to go based off of like what insane type of software practices they were doing back then too. Like shit is way different now and way more simplified. So the bar to entry is like any old person can like just hop on and make some trash and release it, you know. It really had to be a scientist to make a game in the 90s. That's what I'm saying, you know? Hmm. All right. Low key, Cuphead was overrated. It had a cool style, but it's just like uh rage game side scroller shooter, you know? Like that's chill and all, but I think what was really cool about it was that it was all hand drawn 2D animated, like on paper. That is kind of a cool thing in an age where everyone is trying to make shit easier for themselves. They made it harder intentionally, and it looks better because of it. Game that's embroidering all the art, stitching it into fabric, and then putting it into the game. Oh, there's a game. That's crazy. I never heard of that one before. That seems insane. T-pose, okay. Scarlet Deer Inn, interesting. So I need to do something to the skeleton. If I scale this up, does the mouth get bigger? Oh, it just do. I thought my rig wasn't capable of that. I guess I thought ahead. So if I, for instance, let's see what I can do here. I'm gonna hide the hair for now. Where's the hair? Hairstyle 1. Just hide that for now. I go into pose mode. Make him lean back. Actually, okay. Let's make this a little bit more good. Arms at the side. Twenty frames. Frames now. That back. Move the neck piece back. And then another 10 frames. Wait, actually, let's go back to 20 real quick. Open the mouth. Then we go to 30 frames. It's going to be from a behind view-ish, so that's kind of fine. Also, he's going to have hair surrounding him and like covering a lot of the shit, so. I go pose, clear, transform, all. Pose, clear, transform, all. And then we make this bigger. And what is that? We'll go 1.8. And this one. Scale. And then back here, I forgot to set this as a keyframe, so just go 1, 1, 1. Scale. Same for this one. 1, 1, 1. Scale. Okay. Okay. And again, we have to clear, transform, rotation. Clear, transform, rotation. Okay. Now we go A. I'm gonna make this a faster animation. I mean, that's kind of what I'm looking for. And let's see if I go like... I'm probably gonna have to bring my main character's actual head into this scene so I could get the size right, but for now I'll just use a sphere. Oops. Whatever, here's the neck. Something like that. So this will be like pretty much the character will be running around, and then he goes underwater, and the plant dude who's on your back will just bite over your head like this. Not bad. I'm gonna have to mess with it in the engine and stuff, though, and probably bring the main character in this scene. So I think this is probably the critical point where I have to think about if I want to keep the main character the way that he is or adjust his model before I continue. I like how the model is, but I think it looks a little bit rushed. So I think there's ways I can polish it a little bit. And not the model of this guy, the model of the main character. It's way easier to model and animate a humanoid than it is to do something like this, so. You have to go pick your girl up from work? Okay. All good. This animates very well. Thank you. Appreciate that. Thanks for stopping by and watching. Oh yeah, we getting in there. Even the way I UV stuff has gotten better in this past year. And from doing these guys. Jesus. Thanks. Yeah, I gotta get the main character in here. I think I might remodel the main character. If not fully remodel, then at least adjust him. Because he was super rushed when I did the game jam, so... And because I need him to be in here so that way I could do the animation for when he's on the character's back. And then he's going to bite over the head of the main character to let him breathe underwater temporarily. So I would need that character in this scene in order to do that more accurately. So I'll think about that. How long have I been streaming for? Only 2 hours 20, actually. That's not too bad. Blasted through those hair UVs. Corball, you're going to be streaming any Unreal today? Or I know you said you were starting with the game, but you're going to be doing any dev work too? Or is today just a vibe night? You're gonna hop back into Unreal after you try that demo. Okay. Very lit. I'm debating if I should stream a game right now, because I'm gonna have to think about what I'm gonna do next for this, so I don't wanna just do random shit dev-wise right now. I am debating it. I wanted to start playing Mario RPG on my shit. No, I think I might just make this a short stream. I'll watch your stream while I do some RuneScape shit in the background. So... Understandable, still need to draw some references so you could get back into Blender too. Hell yeah, dude. I think Blender's easier to get into, I think, than game dev shit. Well, actually, it really depends, honestly. It honestly does depend. Some people get into art shit easier than they do, like, making stuff work in an engine, and sometimes it's vice versa, so... But yeah, if you need any help either way with Unreal or Blender, let me know. I'm probably going to cut off stream, and then I'll hop in your stream once you start it. But yeah, thanks for stopping by and watching and shit. Always appreciated. Both you and Nut Bustling. You have an easier time with Blender? Yeah. Definitely. Alright, sounds good. I'll see you all later. Thank you everyone for watching. And I'll probably be streaming some games at some point soon too. So hell yeah. I'll see y'all later.